Hello, peoples. It is April 28th, 2020. I'm Chong-On, and I'll be watching some The Killer Game. The Killer Game. First, let me just check my streams. Check if I'm good. Let's make sure. Let's open this up. I could say hello to chat. Oh, chat. Should be live on YouTube and Twitch. So, yeah. Hopefully, I'm not lagging or anything like that, or... Twitch, come on, Twitch, let's do this. Twitch. Let's open up Twitch and go to my channel. So... I've been watching the season 3. I think I'm on episode 4. And yeah, let's watch some. Let's do it. Let me first go to it. All right.
Welcome back to season 3 of the Killer Game, Vampire Invasion!
Welcome to the Killer Game Season 3 Vampire Invasion. And this is how you play the game. In this game, there are 3 killers, 3 civilians, 3 special skilled, and 1 vampire. The civilians and special skilled are good guys. The killers are bad guys, and the vampire is a one-man team bad guy. During the night, killers kill 1 person. The vampire bites 2 people. The detective can check if a person is good or bad. The doctor can revive or poison once per game. The doctor can't revive and poison in the same night. During the day, everybody votes 1 person out of the game. The knight can challenge someone's identity anytime during the discussion phase. If the person is bad, the bad guy dies. If the person is good, the knight dies. The knight's skill is disabled during voting. To win, killers have to get rid of all 3 civilians or all 3 special skilled, or the good guys have to get rid of all 3 killers. But if all remaining players are bitten, the vampire wins.
I don't know if I don't remember the last time a vampire. I don't think the
Hi
vampire's
guys,
won
I'm
yet.
Thomas. This is the most white guys I've seen on one panel of Killer Game
Oh wait,
before.
I gotta.
2. Total of 2.
Hi, I'm Pris,
Whoops.
and I am really
That was
excited
all
to be here.
not even
and
on
I'm playing
video.
for Jason.
Hopefully,
Close eyes.
you know how to play the
Let's
game
go.
already.
go.
It was explained off
Hi guys, I'm
screen.
Amodo, and I'm very confident for this game because there are lots of guests playing. Means they're not gonna play, they're not gonna play for real. And I am not the killer.
Kill first.
Hi
Poker
guys,
face.
I'm Kristen and I'm the real model.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hello, I'm Fish. I'm taking bets on Lingy dying in the first round.
Ding dang.
I like that.
Hi, everybody. I'm Justin, and I'm playing for Keji. Wait, that was still wrong.
Catch up.
KG.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. Right there.
So
Hi
during
everyone,
this,
I'm
during
Kelly
this
and
season,
I'm not playing for anyone.
they're accumulating points
Hi guys, I'm Nicholas, and
in
I'm
terms
playing
of
for
wins and
Dkosh.
losses, and
And later I will be playing with Dkosh.
vampire gets 3 points if they win the
And
game.
he will play with you.
Because it's the hardest to win.
Hi guys, I'm
Otherwise,
Audrey,
you get 1
and
point for
I'm
winning.
playing all of you.
Oh!
Wow, wow, wow!
Hey guys, I'm Ben. Sadly, I play for myself.
We need to like
Yeah,
put
that's what I'm
the
talking about.
video over this side so I can be looking at it.
Yourself.
Then if I put on this side, it's gonna look all weird. gonna be the
Nightfall.
background.
Everyone, close your eyes. Killers, open your eyes. Who would you like to kill?
Kill a new person? Killing a new person's always
Killers,
like
close
messed up,
your
right?
Doctor, open your eyes.
Ooh, doctor.
Doctor, this person has
Gonna have
been
to
killed.
save, yes.
Would you like to
Obviously,
save
you're
them?
saving yourself. Obviously. That means
Would
you
you
can't
like to
poison anybody.
anyone? Doctor, close your eyes. Vampire, open your eyes. Vampire, who would you like to bite? Vampire, close your eyes.
It's always the question of like, are you making
Detective,
noise
open your eyes.
while you're doing the
Detective,
things?
who would you like
if
to
you move
check?
or point, that rustling of clothes.
Detective, close your eyes.
Is that you
It's
hear that?
daytime. Everyone, open your eyes. Last night was a peaceful night.
Nobody
no
died.
one has died.
No one has died.
What a pleasant morning.
How you know it's you?
I do not think the doctor saved himself. I think on some miraculous
Thank you.
Why would you
series
say
of
that?
events, it's probably saved someone else. So I think
But as a
whoever has
civilian,
been
you're
saved
kind
is
of, like,
probably kind of positive
willing to
vibes kind of person. That's how
Play
I say
any
it to
kind of
me.
thing.
Really?
Unlikely to be Lingy. We all kind of, you know what? Knight, if you're out there, just stand up and just do the deed.
And challenge
Next.
someone.
Lingy
Okay,
always
I am number 2.
tries to play a
I'm
tricky
definitely
game.
a good person. So everybody seems like they are against Lingy. So am I. So if you are the knight, you have already identified yourself. Please challenge Lingy because I feel that she's very
Be a good move.
into it right now, like trying to disguise herself. I'm just gonna point out a few suspicious identity. Maybe number 8 for now, and Lingy,
Why?
which is number 3,
Why? Give us your reasoning.
and number 9. Why she look at me?
Everyone is looking at you.
No, you are like adjusting your name and then you're like, why you never point out my name? Okay, so my take is 9, 8, 9, and 3 for now. The rest,
Why?
I'm not too sure yet. I'll listen to this
Why?
speech.
They're trying to claim like detective maybe.
Okay, I think Priest is just trying to find out who the bad people are. And I'm the detective. Last night I checked Ben. Ben is the bad person. So I don't think the knight needs to waste the check on Ben because we can just vote him out because I'm very confident that he's a bad person. The knight, you can save your challenge for the next round. And this night, I'm gonna check fish. Pass.
Thing is,
You must be really
why
happy
would
that you're still
you
alive, right?
reveal yourself as
I'm
detective?
telling you, last night
You
you got
saved-
killed. I saved you. So yeah. What? Happy? Yeah. Okay. Pass.
Thank you.
Because if you
I still believe
Ooh,
the
but then
philosophy
Chrysanne now
of
claims
we shouldn't
herself as a
vote in the
doctor.
first round so the detective can get more information. Even more so,
tricky
that
plays,
nobody died last night. So allow the detective to get more information, then we can vote in the next round.
Yeah, I don't know what anybody is talking about at this point. You're
plays.
always something. I
Guy.
don't know.
he
I
has
don't
no idea what's
Just,
going on. He's
I'm
new.
good. Look at me. Are you? Are you good? Is that what you are?
I like
know.
these little
Next.
animation things or little things that they've
I think number
make
one
his face
is
go all wee.
not very confident in his speech.
And then
I feel like you
sad.
just don't know what to say and then you're just trying to drag on. And that's why I'm suspicious of you. Number 2, the eyes a bit
See,
dodgy.
that's always
so
tough when you're like
I'll
coming
observe
off.
you a little bit more.
fire.
Number 3, always like to pretend to be a detective, but we shall see. I'll put you under observation. Number
Lingy does
4, if
always
you're really the
pretend to
witch,
be
like what you said, then you should poison the
If
doctor.
you're gonna
sorry.
reach number 10, right,
If you
I
are-
will flip it.
I think if you're really the
I will
doctor, to
flip.
prove that you're the doctor, you should poison someone since the safe
I'll
is
poison
already.
you, man.
Oh sure, you poison me. So if I don't die, that means you're not the doctor. Okay. For now, I suspect 9. Your eyes were a bit weird when I woke up and looked at you. So I feel like you are a bit suspicious.
Well,
so
that's
I'll
an
observe
interesting
you.
move,
Okay,
Kelly.
Okay, pass.
I will
Kind of
suspect you.
knowing that she's the
Okay, I
doctor.
think for Lingy
telling
to jump out
somebody
and say that
to
she's a detective
poison
when
somebody.
she's the seat number 3, right, would hold some truth to it because nobody would say it so early when everybody is still alive. Because the real detective would out her immediately unless the detective wants to hide lah. So if nobody else here says that they are the detective, I would believe Lingy that she's the detective and that Benzo is back and we would vote him out. Okay?
Ooh, that's convinced somebody.
I do suspect Fish a bit because he didn't even mention about Lingy's suspicions and he just said, let's not vote anyone out. He might be trying to protect Ben. Yeah, so that is my 2 suspicions for now. Pass.
Interesting. Let me pause that just for a second. His logic is not too bad, actually. Suspecting Fish to try to like protect somebody, but you know, I think he's technically protecting Lingy in terms of like not trying to out anybody, right? Because some people could suspect Lingy for claiming detective when they're actually not detective, and if the real detective, let's say, comes out, who's Benzo, who she perfectly actually is casting doubt on, because like I mean she has no idea that he's a detective, but like you know she knows who the not bad guys are, so to out anybody is perfect that she's outing Benzo, and then Benzo as the detective will look even more suspicious if he goes, oh no, I'm the detective, you know, like I check blah blah blah, and they're good or something, or they're bad or something. Or maybe he can say, I check Lingy and she's bad, right? And it's even more suspicious because you're the second person to claim detective when someone else already claimed it. So it looks like you're like in response claiming that. So, and you already kind of have an ally. Somehow she convinced somebody. I forget who it was. Oh, she convinced Nicholas actually. In terms of like, oh, I'm gonna believe Lingy, right? And then obviously, Nicholas doesn't know that she's actually not the detective. What other logic that was a little weird? The doctor's logic, Kelly's logic. She's telling Chrisanne, right? Like, oh, because Chrisanne claimed that she's the doctor, and she's claimed that she saved Lingy, which is actually bad for the civilians and the good guys because, like Lingy actually is not the detective, so then she's actually protecting her in a sense, kind of like or like allying herself with her, which is, as a civilian maybe could be dangerous. So then Kelly, knowing that Chrisanne is lying, is basically saying you need to poison somebody next round in the sleeping phase. So 2 people should die because the doctor's heal is gone, right? So then when she doesn't poison somebody, she's gonna say no, I'm the doctor. That's what I said. That so then like I didn't poison anybody last night. So then she's gonna be bad, which is terrible again for the good guys because she's actually good. So then that could be really bad for this game in terms of for the good guys. So the suspicion is going to be on Benzo. So let's see what Benzo says in terms of the response towards it. Actually, I think what's her face, Andrea's turn to talk. So she's a killer too.
I don't really believe Lingy is the detective because I feel even if she did find Ben on this round to be really bad, she wouldn't jump out so early because that's a bit dangerous, especially when
that's actually good logic, even though she's the killer.
Last night, which means the doctor already safe. But I also don't believe that Chrisanne was the doctor because she was very yeah.
Oh wow, she's like helping the good guys here at this point, even though she's a bad guy.
Is actually the doctor. She saved herself because there's a like 99.9% chance that she got killed the first round. So yeah, this round I am not gonna vote. I am gonna.
But you don't want to be too suspicious, like allying yourself with killers.
Lingy, I think you're still young. You know not to trust people like that. You need to see the world. Yes. But I'm so sorry when you accuse me, you accuse of the real detective.
Okay.
You are good.
Sure.
Yes. So I'm going to die next round, most probably. So Chrisanne, most probably you are helping me then. Knight. If you don't trust, you can either challenge her or challenge me right now. Okay? Because I have to make a stand. I'm a detective. Because by the looks of it, a lot of people is not gonna vote for. Everyone's gonna vote for me. Some of you are not gonna vote. So I have to protect myself to check again. But I got no choice. I have to check one more time. But all I can say is, Kelly is good. I checked her last night. The rest, not yet. But.
Okay, interesting. So then he does claim detective. The question is, like, people are. Well, Lingy's saying for the knight, who's number 6, to not check anybody yet. But the detective's now kind of going, I'm the detective. You can check somebody. You can check me if you want. Then he'll be outed as good, right? So then he'll be known as good. So then people will trust him to be the detective. Or he's saying to check Lingy or Chrisanne. So then he's suspecting that these both are killers. So if the knight challenges either or, then he'll kill a killer, right? So then that will be like good either way. The question is, as someone who's being outed as a killer, if he was the killer, would he he'd probably take the same line, right? He'd probably go, oh, no, I'm the detective, right? Because if a detective claims you's like already checked you and says you're the killer, you're gonna have to like as the killer, you're gonna have to, claim something. You're gonna have to do something to defend yourself, right? So whatever he's saying, it makes sense to say these things as the detective and as the killer. So, but he is incorrectly saying that Chris-Anne is a killer as well, which again, that's her own fault for claiming doctor. But sometimes people do this to kind of like try to get information of like who people are in response, right? The thing is, I don't know, is that ever like a smart play to claim yourself as like the doctor or something if you're a good guy in general, like if you're a civilian or if you're the knight or something, because then you're gonna be obviously kind of like suspected by the other doctor, the real person, as a good guy. That's a good question. So the knight, if I was the knight, I'd probably do nothing. I don't know. If I was the knight, maybe I would want to do something here. I would want to check Benzo. I mean, it'd be a sacrifice or not. So you think because Benzo might die here because he's the only one being accused of something, really. But then Benzo will probably vote for one of these two people. I guess if nobody else votes, then maybe. So the knight, so the knight thinking that Benzo's gonna die in the vote, would he want to challenge him instead of an outright killing him? Because if he's the detective and he outright dies, like as a vote, that's hugely disadvantaged, right? Same as if the detective is Lingy and she gets voted out, right? So you would rather kill yourself, like have yourself die, and then have someone out as good, as opposed to, or if he's bad, then you can automatically eliminate him, right? Because what is the risk, I guess, right? See what happens.
So funny that straight away this imposter jump out and accuse the real detective that she's the real detective. Yeah, I have to protect myself. Okay, I have no other choice. But doctor, don't know why you say so fast. But if not, just poison Lingy. Night, if not next round, challenge Lingy. So it's either Lingy or Chris-Anne. But I'm going to vote for Lingy. Don't shake your head, you accuse a real detective. We know your I see your true colors. Okay, done.
Voting.
Alright, see what happens. Ooh.
Are you guys kidding me?
Oh man.
Guess who trusts who now?
Oh my god.
Wow. That's a good job by Benzo to convince everybody to vote Lingy.
Guys, I'm the true detective. I am the detective, and Ben is 100% bad. Okay, if you guys don't want to risk that, the night you can always challenge Chris. Oh no, you shouldn't because she's a doctor.
Maybe you both should die.
The knight should just challenge 10.
So Benzo did a good job of convincing
everybody. If you challenge him,
everybody.
you know that I'm telling the truth. You know that I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth, and you can at least trust Chris-Anne. Okay, if you don't want to sacrifice a detective, then you guys are gonna.
The detective should probably check Chris-Anne here. Because he right now, he's suspecting Chris-Anne as bad.
And Thomas is shady as hell, okay?
I think it's time to head to the sofa.
Oh, bye.
Nightfall.
Thank you, Chris-Anne.
The thing is, one thing that I was thinking about was the idea that Lingy claiming herself as detective. The detective probably, because knowing that the doctor did heal somebody, the detective, it'd be tough to like say, hey, I'm the claim detective, because she has no protection. They have no protection, but if the doctor's still alive, then they can do that claim. Like, I'm the detective, I checked this person, they're bad. Because it's, like, obviously there's an advantage of if you find out who the bad person is right away. But if you find out who the bad person is right away, and you have the protective power of the doctor, then, then you can do that. You can then check two people to have more information. Possibly finding out two killers, or at least finding out a killer and a good guy. So I think that was a mistake. The thing is, as a killer, she might have like already you know, like pre-game just said, okay, if I'm gonna be the killer, I will claim detective right away, because that, you know, that's, you know, I think that's a decent move as the killer. It's a variety of gameplay, and you know, it's bold, which I appreciate.
Eyes. Killers, open your eyes.
Killers are
Who
behind
would
the
you
8 ball
like to
now.
kill?
They can kill people without
Killers, close your eyes.
without any heals.
Doctor, open
So
your eyes. Doctor, this person has been killed. Would you like to save them?
well,
Would
she
you like to
can't
poison
poison
anyone?
anybody because she claimed. Oh, wow.
Doctor,
Okay.
close your eyes.
Well, I mean,
Vampire, open your eyes.
I mean, I guess, like, sorry, I'm gonna pause again. I mean, she could poison Chris-Anne, because if people are suspecting that she's allied with Lingy, and knowing, you know, she claimed doctor, right? And she obviously knows that she's the doctor, so to poison her would be okay, you know. I mean, she kind of took the line of, like, you know, hey, Chris-Anne, you should poison somebody so that you can show you're the doctor. But obviously she wouldn't poison herself. So if Kelly poisoned somebody else, then Chris-Anne could look like the doctor. But then I don't know if people will remember that even. I don't know, right? Unless you actually say something. Yeah. So the detective will check somebody. Probably he'll check Chris-Anne. Even though she's gonna die, so that's not gonna help necessarily, because he's gonna die, and then he's gonna go, oh, Chris-Anne is good. Actually, because if he has last words, which is another interesting thing, if he has last words, then he can go, no, you poisoned Chris-Anne, but she's actually not bad. See what the
Vampire, who would you like to bite? Vampire, close your eyes.
Okay, let's see. Okay, let me see. So there's 4 people bit. Did he bite himself? I guess he did. Did he? No, he bit. Wait, why is this? Okay, bit, 4. So Chris-Anne's gonna be dead. Fish is still alive. He's still alive. Kelly's still alive. He's still alive. So Vampire's still far away from winning. Vampire needs 2 rounds to win, unless someone gets voted out, and then Vampire getting both, and then if he survives. Alright, see what happens.
Detective, open your eyes.
Check Chris-Anne.
Detective,
He's
who
gonna
would
check
you like to
Chris-Anne.
check?
Yep.
Detective, close your eyes.
He's like shocked, like, oh shoot.
It's daytime. Everyone, open
Okay,
your
see
eyes.
if he's last words.
Last night, player 10, player 4 has died. No last words.
No last words, okay.
I think 2 killers have died.
What?
Okay, first of all, I think Chris-Anne was lying about being a doctor. Doctor immediately poisoned her. I think that's quite obvious. 10 was the detective. I think it was extremely
Hold on. Let me just...
confusing from Linghee's play to out herself as a detective. Why? Because Doctor already used heal.
Yeah.
If you're the detective, you're going
I
to
already
save your life
mentioned that.
until the second round so that at least you can speak on the third round if you die on the second round. She was very lucky to point Ben, and Ben was the detective, but I don't think he should have outed himself. And he should just wait, try to convince everybody, and then on the last words, then say that he's the real detective and then point someone, and we know.
That's true.
Because it was a very
So they-
obvious
so they-
situation
I didn't
where
know that they
she's
know
the
that
killer.
in the second
now
round
I know
there's no
Chris-Anne is
last
the killer
words.
as well because the doctor obviously poisoned. So now we're just looking for one last killer.
Okay. His logic is almost correct. Like, he thinks that Chris-Anne was the killer, right? Because he's concluding, like, okay, the detective was killed by the killers, and then the doctor poisoned the second killer, right? I guess the question is, could the killers have killed Chris-Anne, and then if Chris-Anne poisoned 10? That would be really stupid, right? The thing is, I guess if Chris-Anne was the doctor, would she poison 10? You know what I mean? because she's obviously in some sort of like she's obviously being accused, right, of being aligned with Lingy, right? Because if he's the bad guy, and then he's been pointed out by Lingy as a bad guy, so then she's trying to figure out if he is a bad guy. So maybe she's convinced by Lingy that he's the bad guy. So then, let's say she knows she's gonna die, right? The killers are gonna kill her, right? Because she'll get that information by the killers, like, or who's gonna die that round, So then, knowing she's gonna die, she would then kill off Benzo, right? That would be actually the correct move to do, because then the killers, let's say the killers are him, and then let's say, I don't know, Kelly or something like that, right? Or there's 3 killers left, or whatever. The correct play could actually be to, like, suicide. But let's say another play is to kill off Chrisanne. Actually, that would probably be a bad play, right? Because she's already being suspected, right? But then they know that, because if she dies, I mean, they know that she's suspected, so the killers wouldn't kill her. So then that would mean that, yeah, that would be a tough believability there. The killers wouldn't kill Chrisanne. Right. Okay, let's see what happens.
We're having a pretty good advantage. So I think just play safe. I think actually both the knight and the doctor can tell us who your identities are, because in this situation, right, we have 2 lives left. Okay? I'm a civilian. Next.
Okay. I kind of agree with Thomas, and I feel that he's a good person as well. If you are the knight, I hope that you can at least check.
Check who? Who they suspect?
Because the vampire is still around, right? I got a feeling these 2 are the bad person. Best scenario, we have 1 killer left. Worst scenario is, yeah, the vampire is still around, because he actually beat myself and I don't know who else yesterday. Number 9, she's giving me a feeling that, she has this face that I don't know what's going on. Everyone is dead. But she's a little quiet. From my observation, I feel that, and just now I cannot remember whether she actually supported Lingy or what, but I'm very sure that Lingy is a killer. So it's Chrisanne. She didn't. Okay, so it's Chrisanne because Chrisanne said she's the doctor and she saved Lingy, and I'm very sure that Chrisanne is not the real doctor. I'm sure that the real doctor actually poisoned Chrisanne because she used her identity. So real doctor don't have save and don't have poison anymore. You're as good as a normal civilian, so you can identify yourself also lah. I feel I am a good person with no power, so I hope the knight can come up and challenge either number 8 or number 9. This is my advice. And pass.
Okay, interesting. I mean, like, that's correct in terms of the knight challenging 8 or 9. If, like, so then she's thinking Thomas' logic is good, so then, like, he's helping the game. She knows she's good. So then, if these 2 are good, 1, 2 are good, they're thinking 3 and 4 are bad, so there's 2 people left that are bad. So then 5, 6, 7. So then of these 5, there is 2 people bad she thinks. The thing is, the knight being one of them, which means that he has a 50-50 chance of challenging somebody that is bad, even though the correct number, if this is eliminating these 2 are good, the correct number is actually a 75% chance that he's going to challenge somebody bad. But so then I don't know if that's the best logic to just out yourself. I'm the knight, who should I challenge, kind of thing. But if, let's say, Callie, reveals herself as doctor, then he can go, okay, I can believe that, then I know now there's a higher chance that I can be challenging somebody that's bad. You know, but then they only think that there's only one killer left and one vampire left. So then maybe they think against still 50-50. They're not suspecting either of these two, I think. But then what if like Fish claims I'm the doctor, right? Then it would be confusing because then Kelly would be like, oh shoot, I gotta claim doctor. So then now you have two people that are claiming doctor. I think one of them should probably claim doctor, right? Because they think there's only one killer left, but there's actually two. So they could be sacrificing one as the killer. Let's say they don't believe him or something. Or maybe the knight will challenge him, right? The game wouldn't be over, right? So at least they kind of have one. I mean, I don't know. Should you claim as a doctor? Let's see what happens. Sorry for pausing so much.
So I think Chrisanne was pretending to be a doctor because she died the next night. And I think that Ben really was a good guy due to the fact that he died after outing himself as a detective and Lee got voted out. So there should be one killer left, but more importantly, the vampire is still alive. And there's only 3 people that are not bitten. So if the vampire was Nicholas, Justin, or myself, they would win in the next night no matter what. So we have to either decide now, are we going to try and kill the vampire this round, or hope that one of the 3 people that are not bitten are not the vampires, and the vampire actually bit themselves. Judging from what Thomas said, I actually suspect that he's the vampire, because he's been talking a lot about how we have to play this safe, we have to play this cool, we have to, you know, try and vote somebody out and look for the vampire here and there, which means that if we get rid of somebody now that doesn't have a bite mark, we're in a lot of trouble. And he would be able to bite the 2 remaining people that don't have the bite marks and win the game.
That's pretty good.
So I actually suspect that Thomas is the vampire. We need to be a bit careful about that. Pass.
Oh, you talk so much. Oh my gosh, it's
Well,
painful.
he's new, so he doesn't really understand the game that well.
I don't know.
He didn't get anything he said, I don't
at this
think.
point, I'd say. Oh, all 3 of you. You're a little too well thought out there, Mr. Fish. A little too well thought out. I feel like
He has
the left
nothing to-
side feels friendly. The
He
right
has nothing
side
to
feels very
contribute.
confrontational right now. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think Thomas is a bit too confident in saying that Lingy and Chrisanne confirm is the killer, and that therefore the knight and the doctor should come out, and that 10 is the detective. Actually, I don't really believe Ben, even though he said that I'm the good guy, because of his expression. He wasn't very confident, but okay, since no one jumped, I'll just believe him for now. And for Thomas, I'm pretty sure you are something. You're not the knight, that's for sure. And I'm the
Fish is
doctor, so I
good.
saved myself the first night. That's why the save got blah blah blah. And then second night I poisoned Chrisanne. So I think we should vote you out. Even if you're a civilian or whatever, the vampire, like you say, the vampire, we are
True.
left with
He's bitten already.
3 people with no bite marks. So even if I out you, it's okay because you have a
Okay.
bite mark. Yeah. So other than that, I think Fish, you used to be very confident. So at this round, you're not as confident. You might be a civilian, so you have no insights to whatever. So I'll just put you under observation. You, I don't know.
It's because he has no idea how to play the game.
So for now, I think maybe we should vote number 1. Maybe you guys think about it, but I think I would vote number 1. Pass.
The vampire's
Actually,
like,
I think
yeah,
the
that's
likelihood
good.
of Fish being the vampire is higher
Ooh.
because he never bite himself, and then after that, he's trying to push the blame to Thomas. I think that is a logical move that if he push it to Thomas, and then after that, the next round he just straight win. Because from right now, the numbers seem that there is enough good people, special skills, civilians, and killers to not end the game the next round. I think the numbers still kind of add up. So I think honestly the vampire will win if we don't vote up the vampire. I think the probability of Fish being the vampire is small. But then if I'm wrong, the logic behind that is that if we vote out a guy without a bite mark, then that's advantageous to the vampire as well. So that's a risk. But I would urge people to think about this scenario because right now I think that is more urgent than finding the killer. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Okay, you know, I didn't realize that. Actually, I didn't think about Kelly being bit already. So, as the vampire, he would win if they don't kill him, right? Because the only people left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 people left. 4 of them are bitten. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 people left. 4 of them bitten. He's not bitten. He's the vampire. They kill whoever. Let's say they even kill Thomas. Let's say. Then all he does in night is bite, bam, bam. And the vampire wins. Right? They have to kill the vampire here. Otherwise, they lose. Or kill the if they think there's only one killer left, then they have to kill the killer or vampire, right? So they got to either figure out who the killer is or who the vampire is. So that's actually pretty good logic, and he looked like he convinced Kelly of that, right? So then she's like, "Oh shoot, who should we actually vote?" Like all he has to do is either just survive or avoid a tie vote, right? But his logic is actually very sound in terms of like, you know, because he'd be like, okay, let's say they vote, let's say 2 people vote Fish, 2 people vote Thomas. He would be like, okay, we have to kill the right person. You know, we can't just not kill anybody. Actually, no, they can. Because let's say they don't kill. Yeah, we can't. They can't just do a tie, because if Fish is the vampire, they would bite 2, and then the vampire wins, right? So he has actually a pretty good shot at winning right now.
Okay, first off, I don't think my face was very blur and lost this time around. I feel like I was like really in thinking mode, so I don't know why like CC like aims me.
Okay, let me just add one more thing. Is that as the killers, Fish and Audrey, they need to find the vampire here too, actually. Like she's doing maybe a whatever decent job of defending herself, right? Because they don't want to die, right? As a killer, they don't want to die. But not only that, they need to find the vampire. They need to figure out who the vampire is. So then that's why Fish is kind of like suspecting, maybe Thomas. I guess maybe that could be also deflective reasoning to not be suspected as killer. But then that also people suspected him as vampire. But they need to figure out who the vampire is. They need to kind of like maybe, I don't know. You can't really interrogate people though, in this type of game. You're just basically saying your spiel. You gotta hope that maybe there's a tie, and then they can kind of, defend themselves. The thing is, if it's not a tie with the vampire in the vote, then they lose automatically.
I choose to believe that Ben was the detective because, like, I think it was.
She's like going like this, even though she's
in a sense like
last
ditch attempt for him to get people to believe him. That's why he jumped out so early on. On the other hand, as much as I found it very weird that Ling Yi jumped out so early, but because of that, now when I think about it, I don't actually think she's a bad guy. I actually think she's just a regular civilian trying to throw people off, because Ling Yi's gameplay is usually very high, and I don't think she would sabotage herself like that so early.
That's not what she needs. She needs to be figuring out who the vampire is.
I would trust Kelly because she's usually very sharp on picking people, so I trust her intuition that Thomas is probably the vampire. So this round I will be voting for Thomas. Yeah.
Voting.
Okay, wait, sorry. Before they vote, even as the killers, you kind of want to be finding a vampire, but it's also possible that like one of these people is vampire, like they bit themselves. So technically, sorry, I need to cough. So yeah, but technically you might not lose after this round. So then, as the killers, I would vote Thomas. Right, these two should vote Thomas. thinking that possibly he's the vampire. I don't know if they actually really actually think he's the vampire, but if like Audrey is thinking Fish's logic and observation skills are good, they would vote out Thomas, hoping that he's actually the vampire. And if that was the case, they could easily confirm that in the next round. But of course, they can also confirm by losing as well, right?
Begins.
Wow, we all convinced
KO1
them.
has been voted
Vampires gonna win,
out.
right?
No
It's over.
last words.
Oh, no last words.
Nightfall. Everyone, close your eyes.
Okay,
Killers.
wait. Killers. Okay, so killers, when they kill somebody, I think that takes precedence over the vampires biting, right? I think that's the case. So if these two figure out who the vampire is, then they will win, or they at least the game will continue on, right? So then they know that, okay, Thomas, it's possible Thomas was a vampire, so then they might just be continuing on. But then they know also that Kelly is the doctor, and then they don't know who the knight is, and then, yeah, let me
Open
just,
your
hold on.
eyes. Who would you like to kill?
Wait. Yeah, he okay. So he wants to try to find the vampire. Like, that's smart, because the vampires will win, right? So then he is like, I think I remember this episode actually. So then he wants to try to figure out who the vampire is. So then they got to figure out between. So then they know Kelly's the doctor, and then the other people that are left are Nicholas. Is it that other guy, other white guy, Justin, I think. Nicholas, Justin, and Pris. Those are the three people left. They have to figure out who the vampire is. So it's 33% chance. Right? Oh yeah. Justin, yeah. Nicholas, and yeah. So they have 33% chance of getting the vampire. I mean, Nicholas, they have no idea, right? They have no idea he's the vampire. She says 7. Who is Kelly? Because he's asking who the vampire is. I think 7 is Kelly. Because she's 9. She's 9. Let me go back, actually. Just go back. Okay. Yeah, so she wants to try to kill off the doctor. But they need to choose between 2, 6, and 8. So then, like, he's never going to agree to kill the doctor off. Right? He's going to go, no, let's kill someone else. He needs to figure it. But I guess the question is, if you think that Thomas is the vampire, it's possible that Thomas is the vampire, then you need to figure out, then if that's the case, you need to figure out who the last, actually, he could be civil. Let's say civilian, knight, doctor. If you think the vampire's dead, then it's okay to kill the doctor, right? Right? That's right. Like, who would you want to kill as if you think the vampire's dead? But if you don't think the vampire's dead, you can't take that risk though. So you have to try to kill one of these. Sorry. Okay, let's just go back.
Me.
So, sorry, let me just go back. He's asking the vampire. She's like, let's kill the doctor. He's like, no, we gotta try to figure out who the vampire is. She's like, no, the doctor. And he's like, trying to ask, but then she's like, I don't understand what you're trying to ask. He's like, wait, no, okay, who's the vampire? He's like, just kill 7. She has no idea. Yeah. This is a good subtext, subtitles. Okay, he actually had it. He thought 8 maybe.
Open your eyes.
Oh.
Doctor, this person has been killed. Would you
I think
like
the
to
vampire,
save them?
that's game over, then vampire wins.
Would you like to poison anyone? Doctor, close your eyes. Vampire,
Good
open
job,
your eyes.
Nicholas.
Vampire, who would you like to bite?
He's like, yep, done. Game
Vampire,
over.
close your eyes. It's daytime. Everyone, open your eyes.
The game is over, vampire
The
wins.
game ends.
Oh my
Vampire wins.
Oh. Good job, vampire.
We had to kill him. He's the
Solid
vampire.
game, solid game.
Hey, I was just a civilian, okay?
I just want to say there is a huge flaw in logic when you say things like, all right, 3 people are left and you should vote someone out without the bite mark.
No, I knew who the
Because
vampire was.
This game doesn't revolve
I
around
knew- I
logic.
knew-
Because when you
Nicholas
say
is the
stuff
vampire,
like
I just
that,
wanted to kill you.
I feel like it's either you or Nick already.
Yeah, I knew Nicholas was the vampire. I wanted to kill you and then kill Nick. Then Audrey vetoed my vote to kill Nick.
Oh no! I didn't know what you were saying.
Who was the knight?
That was the night.
Of course you were the knight.
You were the knight.
Of
What
course
is
you were
the
the
thing
knight.
on the top of the cards? I'm not. Yeah, when you open it
So
up, I'm not
what?
gonna
So what
see
did you
that.
see if you
What
weren't the
did you
knight?
see? What exactly
Yeah,
did
what did
you
you
see?
I saw good guy.
Okay, that's the end of the game, and the winner for this match is the vampire. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.
Okay. That makes sense, all that logic. So apparently, I think the knight didn't know who he was. He just thought he was a good guy. And then Fish, with his logic was, he claims, I don't think it's true. Like, he thinks, okay, Thomas, I knew Nicholas was the vampire. I just want to kill you. So then, in the voting phase of killing as the killer, he was trying to kill off Nicholas, and he was vetoed by Audrey. I don't think that's true at all, because he was like clearly in the killing phase. You can tell he was like, "Who's the vampire? Who's the vampire?" And then he was like trying to do 8. But he was kind of suspecting that. The thing is, if I thought he was a vampire, and if I'm in that situation, even if I suspect that he's a vampire, I'm not 100% sure, I would still go for it. I would still be like, no, we got to kill 8, 8, 8, 8. Even if Audrey was like, no, like 7, I'd be like, no, we're doing 8. Because I want to win the game here. You know? I guess it is possible that number 1 was vampire, so then to like be stubborn like that and then not be right could also look bad. But at the same time, like, he says, oh, I knew Nicholas was a vampire. So I would be stubborn and say no. So yep, that was episode 4. Wow, I did a lot of breaks and I took a lot of time doing analysis. So hopefully either you enjoyed that or you're like, man, who's this annoying guy? If that was the case, then why are you still watching? So then you're watching because, you know, either you like watching my face. No, that's probably not true. Okay, let's speaking of my face, let's go back to my face. But yeah, so that's the game. I don't know if I like in the future. Maybe I'll do some longer streams or something. Like, do either watch a couple episodes or watch other things or play Settlers, because I'm kind of playing a lot of Settlers now. Yeah, so thanks for watching. Peace. Stay healthy.